Conan, are you going to be at the G party WrestleMania weekend? Thanks for the work. He asked you if you're going to be at the Get My Go party WrestleMania weekend, Conan. So how long do you want to suspend this guy for?
Okay, what's this guy's name?
Jeff Yapunchich.
What is it?
Jeff will be there.
Jeff Yapunchich.
Listen, Yuckmouth, for being a smartass, you're getting suspended for a month. All those guys you just mentioned are too boring and too lame to hang out or party with. No disrespect. Bro, who's in that crew that you're with? Okay, well, then I'm going to disrespect you guys. How about that?
Like, who's going to be there?
Who's that Get My Go clique? Not who's going to be at the fucking party. Who's that Get My Go show you guys have where you blow each other every week?
Durban, Husey, the Chadster, and the Aussie guy, Dean. And we've had
I don't know who the Chadster is, but the name is very lame. Sounds like a hamster. All you guys are fucking lame. And all disrespect intended.
Next from Kevin Moran. Subject is 100 questions from Kevin Moran. Conan, which nickname has more heat with you, Big Bill or the Chadster? Keep up the work. That's Kevin in North Kakalaki. What gets more heat, Big Bill or the Chadster?
That's close, but I have to go with the Chadster. What a ridiculous name.
It's Husey Hello this week is going to feature Chad from the Two Man Power Trip, the Chadster himself.
Who is Chad? The Chadster himself?
Yeah.
Who is he?
He's the second half of the Two Man Power Trip, but he's worked for WWE, Howard Stern. He currently runs a sports memorabilia business and sets up autograph signings, things of that nature. And, he's been doing podcasting.
Sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah. Okay, so this is for Chad.
Can you believe that Durban sent me 3 episodes of Get My Go about Larry Dallas and this other guy? Like
he thought you were going to listen to it.
Right. I was like, bro.
What is wrong with Durban? Joe, what is wrong with Durban?
I'll take blame for that.
All right. She should take blame for that.
Yeah.
I like Durban, okay, because he's a good guest, right? But Durban, you do not have anything that you could show me that would interest me to spend more time of my free. I have free time, and I don't have a lot of free time because I work a job and I do this podcast. Dude, you have to show me something very compelling. Okay, send me something very compelling that would eat into my free time, that I would contribute my free time into watching. Okay, and if you actually think that like sending like Get My Go clips and stuff, like I'm going to watch that and like fill my free time, I'm not going to do that. And it's funny that Durban actually thinks that. You know,
I sent them I don't know how we were corresponding, but I told him, what makes you think that I would watch this?
Right.
And then he goes, well, I just want you to know. And I did love every word, and there weren't many of them, but I loved every word in this sentence. Larry had a complete meltdown, which I liked. So I guess he must have heard it and they sent it to him. He said that Larry no-sold it. And I go, that's the sell. The fact he's no-selling it, it's killing him inside, because he's the type of guy that literally looks on the internet to see what people are saying about him.
Who, Larry Dallas?
Or his announcing. Yeah.
Larry. Oh, yeah.
I just want to chill out, maybe have a cream soda, bro. Mind my own business, but somebody's always saying something that just rubs me the wrong way and freaking pisses me off, and what do they call it? Gets my go.
Now, have they taken down Billy Body?
Oh, yeah, we did Billy a couple of times.
I wish one of those guys there, name the names again. Okay, Billy, Mike Durban. Who's the other guy?
Husey, and then you got Dean.
Hughley.
Dean, the Aussie guy. And right. the Chadster.
He's got heat. That name has heat, and Chadster has way more heat. Okay, one of you guys would be very over with me if you were to mail the takedown episode to Larry Dallas, because he will absolutely melt. And if you were to send one to Billy Body, because he will absolutely lose it.
Yeah, Billy knows because he texted me about it, and he also texted DI, which then made Disco angry at me because I was on the episode, and he's like, "What are you messing with him for? You know he's going to bother me," and that kind of thing. So Billy definitely saw it. Yeah,
yeah, but Disco is the problem because he's answering him.
That's true. Yeah,
you know, if he were to put, "Hey, what do you want?" You know, "Whoa, this happened. Hey, you know what? I'm working right now. I'll holler at you later," and then mute his ass.
That's how they started, just kind of talking shit. And they got to the point now where they have live events and all this stuff. So, but,
because bro, it's become so ubiquitous that so many people have podcasts that are amateurs that probably have bad. I think it happened to us for a while too when we started, bad microphones or, or boring content or very amateurish. So I'm sure there's a lot of shows that make fun of, because that's what you guys did for a while, right? And that Get My Go thing.
Yeah.
And to Dr. Flanagan, if you like him so much, then listen to him on the aforementioned shows, on Raven, on fucking Hughley, on Francine, on Dash and Cash, on fucking all these other shows that he's a guest on.
Thanks a lot, Doc.
Next is from Fat Factor, and the subject is Joe Feeney's epic promo. Oh my God, this could be. Dear K100 crew, hope you're all well and had good Christmas. I've always wanted to see how a promo class coaching typically goes down, and thought, why not have one on the show? You might not be aware of this, but Joe Feeney recently cut a pretty epic promo on Billy the Body Boy while on some other show. I was wondering if Disco and Conan would be willing to critique the promo on the show of Joe, as Joe pretty much unleashed the inner cornet and dropped Terry Funk's classic "Your Mother's a Whore" line. Where was this version of Joe when old Rumple Foreskin was still running the show with his tales of what wrestlers had for breakfast while he totally wasn't stalking them? How would you guys rate Joe's promo? First of all, you're not going to get me and Conan to watch anything from Get My Go. Can you imagine someone trying to blame Conan when the $377 a month they get from Universal Credit, that's the UK version of unemployment benefits, isn't enough for them to get better seats at a wrestling show? Well, who the hell does that?
This guy hates
we are not going to review any content from Get My Go.
What were you going to ask, Disco?
What did you think about this guy's description of Durban?
All right, here's the thing with Durban. Durban's a lot like the wrestling fans of today. Like, he's socially awkward, like Joe, like all those Get My Go guys.
Me?
He's a cool guy. Well, bro, you can be socially awkward and be
I
cool.
can be extremely socially awkward. Yeah. No, I'm agreeing with you.
So he's a cool guy. He's kind of boring and bland, but he's not a bad person. He's a friend of the show, and he's not a bad person. And that to me goes a long way. So whether you're a nerd or a geek or whatever, if you're cool, you're what I mean by cool, you're not a dick. I could definitely see Joe and Mike Durban together at like a Starbucks drinking some latte, Google mapping where people live and what cars they drive and
who broke up
like that. Right.
Mike Durban Productions, Hughley rules. His accent is cool there, man.
That gets my go.
That gets your go?
Oh, yeah.
2 new shows have moved over to the Creative Control Network. One is the United States of Australia. States of Australia.
Have moved over from where?
Well, his own network. He was an independent. Now he's joined the team. And that's, of course, I'm sure you can guess, hosted by Dean the Aussie guy.
I got to run, Joe.
I know.
Go ahead. You're not missing anything. And he's going to get kazooed before this is over. So you just pick guys that you know from Get My Go and give them all a show. Is that what you do?
No. It's actually.
Yeah. Well, okay. Let's look at it. Durban had a show.
He had a show. Yeah.
Hughley has a show.
Occasionally.
Fucking this guy, Aussie guy, has a show.
Yeah.
Paz has a show. Who else?
Yeah.
Who else is on there that doesn't have a show?
Well, Chad left. So Chad was with Francine. But you got to remember, Durban doesn't do his show, and Hughley only does it.
Big deal, but he had a show. So everybody on Get My Go, so everybody that's your friend that puts you over, you give him a show.
I think Dean
that's
could make
real
some
good
money.
We're
gonna make some money.
That's real good business. Yeah, you're not.
But he
You're
joined
not.
the network.
I hope you do, but you're not, because nobody knows these guys. They're just friends of yours, and you just come on.
And Get My Go joined the Creative Control Network. Right now, that just means all the archives are there in audio. You go to Creative Control Network now. Get My Go's there. You don't have to search for it.
Do you think that the Get My Go guys send dick pics to each other?
1,000%. And I think they've had a sword fighting competition. They all rented a hotel, whipped it out, and they had a little sword fight. I don't want to say their names, but Hughley actually did sword swallowing.
Well, you got to figure out who has the biggest dick. So that's the only way you can pick a leader. You got to figure out who's the alpha, right? Nobody wants to see a solo show.
You and all your friends, Hambone, Durban.
Hambone's not a friend.
Who's the other J Brones that you hang out with?
The Chadster.
Hughley.
The Chadster, the Aussie guy.
The Aussie guy.
Yeah. Why don't you bring that whole? Why don't you bring that whole? Ratings draw there.
We're going to Philly. We're going to Philly.
WrestleMania
40. WrestleMania.
Yeah, right. I'd love this.
I want to build it up.
But guys, I'll come on again next time. He needs to be punished. Let me know. Stap too, bro. Anytime you want to punish either one of those guys, just let me know,
look
man.
Behind me. I'm a Vince Russo guy through and through.
Yeah.
There you go, Chad. Thank you.
Hey, Vince, we want you back on episode 100. We're going to do the 5th installment of the Billy Body Show.
Oh my God!
Listen, you are not going to get me involved with Billy, because I'm not going to get involved with emails and all that crap. Bro.
We heard about the email he sent you when you overslept.
Calls and texts.
Yeah.
All right, Vince. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just don't use Chris. Hope people forget. Hope it goes away. You bring them back in March or April in some capacity. Hopefully everybody's happy. Instead, you're doing this that just felt.
It felt antagonistic, is what it felt to me. Because
what the fuck are you talking about, dude? To who?
I gotta be honest with you. I hate this guy.
I hate him. I
hate the guy on the right more.
Oh, really?
I hate his guts. No, Carpella's guy. I hate this guy's guts. I don't know what it is about him. If it's stupid face that he keeps making, I hate his guts.
Now, Nick, I'll be the soft touch. I won't say I hate him, but I'll say, Nick, it felt antagonistic to you because from your perspective, it's antagonizing you. Yeah. But as far as being antagonistic towards the entire AEW audience, not just the Dynamite ratings, but YouTube video watchers, Twitter, internationally, nobody fucking knows. Seriously, what percentage of the AEW audience do you think follows this or knows about it? And if they do, cares?
Well, that's the thing. I was about to say, just having Vince on, this does remind me and make me feel like when Wangland was pissed off at Vince Russo and was expecting Vince Russo to address him on his show. It's like, we can talk on neutral ground. What's he going to talk to you about?
Leave it to Beaver.
All right, everybody. Welcome to another great episode of the Leave It to Beaver podcast. It is Saturday night.
Yes, it is.
Hope everybody's having a wonderful night.
Absolutely.
How are you doing today, old friend?
Hey, man, I'm into the sports fever there. We were at the hockey game in the box there last night, which was fantastic.
Yeah. Why would anybody address Nick Hausman again, giving vague allegations and getting a heart emoji in response? That's his big fucking deal.
But that's everybody now, though. Everybody talks so stupidly. They abbreviate things into 3 letters, and that's their sentence. That's the way everybody talks. So her putting out the heart emoji caused a worldwide phenomenon of tearing down Chris Jericho. And I couldn't believe it that morning. And it was because of one little picture that somebody selected on their phone.
And let me tell you, if all of this shit, like the allegations about Jericho are true and he's some sort of a sexual deviant, I'm here for it. I want to hear all about it. You know what I mean? But like, you presented nothing, absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Everybody would kill for 5 minutes in wherever the backstage area, the truck or the van, or, the tour bus. I don't care who you are. You're Nick Hausman. You're this fat idiot here next to him. You would kill for it. So this is just jealousy out of this guy. And let me say this too. I didn't want to say it when Vince was here because I knew he would get upset. Nick Hausman has been very good to me over the years.
Oh,
I have nothing negative to say about Nick Hausman, the person, but I don't like that he went after Jericho like this because it was wrong and it was bad journalism. So that's why I'm not happy about this. This is not right.
He's got I guess him and Conan have a friendship or whatever the hell you call it right now. But when he first did K100, I immediately put up a clip on Patreon. I got an antagonistic DM about it. So I do not like Nick.
Fuck him.
I think your boy Ben Harmain, Joe, had a history with Nick Hausman in Chicago, and they had a wrestling website together and stuff.
No shit.
Yeah, they had a falling out. I used to listen to Ben. I got bored of him, but I used to listen to him, and yeah, he never really delved into what happened with Hausman, but they definitely had a big falling out.
Yeah, because they both did what's it called, improv in Chicago.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right.
Like Scott Colton.
Scott Colton, yeah. Scott Colton.
By doing this, I think you're almost challenging these people who were going to boo louder, right? Like, I don't know what happens on Saturday night, But I saw a lot of people that were very, very upset about this. I heard from a lot of people that were very, very upset about this. Obviously, don't think it's the best way to handle this situation. I'm very much with you in the sense that coming forward, addressing this thing head on. There was my initial Christmas Day response to Chris.
Yeah, no, I just want to what's the over under on what Nick Hausman calls a lot of people?
Yeah,
7, 8, you know.
A lot of people that were upset. Who's upset? If you're a grown man and you're upset over this, get the fuck out of here, man. Upset. Come on, man.
There was my initial Christmas Day response to Chris, which was, what it was.
So on Christmas Day, this dude's taking time to start trouble with Jericho.
Ooh, the Nick Hausman Christmas Day response. What was it? Stay tuned.
And all Chris, I remember that seeing a bunch of crap about this. What's Chris doing tweeting on Christmas? He must be up having a drink. He said something to the lawyer, Cornette's lawyer, I guess Punk's lawyer too. And he said it was just like, oh, I didn't sign any NDA about the fight backstage.
Yes.
What the fuck? How is that antagonistic? I love using that word today.
Could have shot me down right there. He could have said, "You're so full of shit. You are just like every other dirt sheet writer out there, just trying to make a muck." But
that's what you wanted him to do. You would have paid money for him to do that. You're so fucking desperate, man. What did he say? A muck? He used that wrong too.
Make a muck. He's just trying to make a.
That's a journalist. You not using
out there, just trying to make a muck.
I know, but a muck is not
dirt sheet writer.
Make a muck.
Yeah, but he's saying make a muck. Run amok is 2 words.
Run amok.
Yeah.
They're out there just trying to make a muck. But like I said from the get.
From the get. From the what?
He's so hip.
I worry about Chris.
God, I hate this fucking guy, dude.
I worry about Chris. I worry about skeletons coming out that are going to affect him, that are going to affect the people around him, and they're going to affect AEW. And look, we're about 3 weeks removed from those comments, and skeletons are dancing around, and people's.
There's the episode title.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's a good one.
And Nick Hausman saying, I'm worried about Chris and his skeletons when he's the one that came out and tried to start this bullshit is like me coming to your house and stealing your wife's jewelry and going, hey, let's look around. We'll find it together. Oh, I hope we find this jewelry.
Reputations are being affected.
I hate you.
And that brings us to our next story here, Robert. The other Chris Jericho story from yesterday. Coming from our friend at bodyslam.net, Cassidy Hayes. There was the Chris Jericho cruise in 2020, where apparently he got into a heated argument with MVP and got knocked out. We don't know what they were arguing about. We don't know how he got knocked out, but we do know apparently that MVP knocked out Chris Jericho on his own cruise ship.
Dean.
The other big story from this week is that in 2020, something happened. Who gives a shit?
I mean, come on, man. A part of Chris's rep has been, Chris is the guy that took down fucking Goldberg backstage. Oh, that's badass. Or he got in Brock Lesnar's face. He's always had like a, he don't give a fuck, he'll fight
It's
kind
a
of
little
rep
man syndrome. Yeah.
from the stories. He's not that little.
Yes, he
but
is.
he's not. But he's not. Well, what I'm saying is MVP. I looked this up just to know for a fact. MVP's listed at 6'3", 259. Okay, and not only is, and I would never insult MVP for God's sakes. I mean, he also did time in prison for a bank robbery thing, and then recently he won that. I think he won an over certain age jiu-jitsu tournament. So MVP ain't one to fuck with. So if you get knocked out by MVP, I'm not thinking any less of you anyway. But you got Nick snickering, like that's some black mark on somebody's record, dude. It's MVP, of course.
Yeah.
If this is true,
if it's true,
yeah. Scott Colton was mentioned. His podcast with MVP. MVP tells that story great about getting arrested and robbing a cruise ship. Man, it's a fucking great story.
Cruise ship, right?
Yeah. It's a good story.
The two also, and this had been more known. I'd read about this before, actually, when it happened, and I kind of had some background on it. But they noted in the story that, yes, last year there was nearly another altercation between MVP and Chris Jericho, where MVP got an interrupted a Jericho Matt Hardy conversation in a hotel lobby. Things got very, very tense. Chris went to an elevator and screamed something about not wrestling. wrestling jobbers.
No.
And there you
That
go.
was known.
A
That
not
was
so glowing
reported.
story about Chris.
Please, because he says not. Can you just bleep everything after the Chris Jericho scream, nah, you know what I mean?
But that was reported, that story.
That was reported, and Jericho said, I don't fight jobbers. Not I don't wrestle. I don't fight jobbers. Was the story, if it's true.
What does this idiot next to him do? Seriously, he has done shit.
I may have edited out his. I don't know.
No, you have
probably not. But
and now back it up, because again, I've been enjoying the Pinot Grigio during this time. This is on Conrad's channel, or it's not on Conrad's
I think
channel?
at this point it was not.
Now it's not. But this was put together by Conrad.
Well, they definitely used the phrase that he's kind of made famous.
Yeah.
So it was put together by Conrad.
Yeah, I think it started out on ad-free shows, and then it's once he did all this bullshit, Conrad probably,
Well, I find it offensive as a former employee of ad-free shows and Conrad Thompson. I know I don't know Nick, but I know of Nick. He did WrestleZone for a long time. He's around. I guess he's podcasted before this. I don't know. I don't understand why Nick and Robert here were like this big signing for ad-free shows, and I'm just kind of confused. Like, who made that deal?
That's what I'm saying. Like, Joe, you're very talented. You deserve to be on that platform when they had you there. They let you go. That's a big loss. This is such bottom of the barrel shit that we're looking at. It shows there's no like bar anymore. They just bring on whatever fan will kiss the ass. They'll just bring on whoever. I mean, this is horrible. This idiot's done nothing.
Yeah.
Well, it's just a little different because while Nick here is a shitty podcaster, I'm a shitty producer. So it's a little different thing there, You
mentioned WrestleZone. I think that's what he was partnered with Ben Amin was for WrestleZone back in the day. But should we dub this fella on the right Robert Carpel's Tunnel?
I don't get it.
I get it.
Carpal tunnel syndrome.
When you sit there and play video games or jerk off a lot or whatever.
I'm disappointed because
tunnel.
I get the reference, but I don't get it with this idiot. He's just a fat fuck.
He's a fat fuck sitting at a computer. Therefore, he would be
sitting in front of a window that's wide open, in front of a camera that's bright. You don't do that. Close the shade.
Hey, I'm just happy. I'm happy the guy's using a microphone.
It's a very nice microphone. Look, I've been using the same one for 8 years. It's a nice microphone.
It's huge. Am I wrong? That's a large microphone.
It's a large.
Mine is
a microphone for a large man.
It's very prominent in the camera view though as well. They don't look that big generally.
It's like John Holmes in his face.
I think that's the one Wanglin has, but Wanglin will have it off to the right, like way off camera. But I think that's the same model he uses.
Do me a favor.
Yeah, Wanglin's got the blue.
Cut to Wanglin with it far in the background now.
yeah. Or just Photoshop it like back in the distance.
Yeah.
Chris Jericho coming out like 5 minutes before Dynamite. Again, this is maybe not the time. They're doing it, and I just don't think it's a good. I don't think it's a good call. I disagree.
Can you imagine? Like we've just done Billy Barty episodes again. Can you imagine if we sat here today and went, "Oh, Billy didn't even address us." You're like, why wouldn't he address all the things? Joe threatening to fight him and all this shit. Why wouldn't he address that? It just makes him look bad.
I also said I wanted his mother to get hit by a bus, but other than that,
you did say that. Yeah.
Again, much as MVP is a friend of mine, that is not a dude I ever want.
He just said MVP is a friend of his.
No, I wouldn't. I don't.
That's possible. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't think that's wrong.
If he was creative-ish at that time, then he probably
And if he was working with guys like Court and Andrew Goldstein and Alex Greenfield, remember MVP did a podcast with Alex Greenfield. Maybe you don't. Yeah. He did a podcast with Alex Greenfield, so I wouldn't doubt it. It sounds
right.
like
No, they're friends. So he walked by MVP, said, "Hey, MVP," and MVP goes, "Hey," and he goes, "Oh my God, we're friends now."
When he handed Alex Greenfield his coffee, he said, "Hi, MVP."
Or it's like it's Twitter friendship, I tweeted at MVP. He liked the tweet. We're friends.
Yeah.
I don't even feel comfortable calling you guys my friends because we're on different side of the world. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, that doesn't matter.
We tried to get you here in April. It's only $8,000.
How much is a plane ticket? Like round trip, one person?
Look, I did a quick search when we did that silly thing about starting a GoFundMe. I think, like, to get accommodation as well, you're looking anywhere from $4,000 to $7,000.
$1,000?
Yeah. Well, that was specifically Philly for WrestleMania. Like I was searching, but yeah. I'm sure there's cheaper options, but yeah,
it'd probably be cheaper for you to go to California, right?
Yeah, that would be the closest trip.
Because, dude, when I worked in California, I worked in Venice Beach, and we had Australians there every week at the hotel.
California is closest to our climate as well. Maybe Texas as well, but yeah. California is more similar to our climate. So.
I just typed in Perth to Philly, January 29th to February 5th, $1,900.
Oh, come on. That ain't nothing.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, I got that in my back pocket because I'm a rich, successful podcaster.
Wow. So what are the chances we'll get California to come here?
I would bring California just to punch him in his fucking face.
Well, he played in a Guns N' Roses inspired band. I'm sure he's flush with cash.
I think that is very cool. I don't understand why you're mocking it.
Joe, that would make the biggest Guns N' Roses fan hate Guns N' Roses. The fact that California was in a Guns N' Roses tribute band.
I got to be honest, Joe makes me hate Guns N' Roses.
Yes, I do. I do that to a lot of people.
Again, much as MVP is a friend of mine, that is not a dude I ever want to mess with. He is a big, thick gentleman.
Dude, you would hate. You wouldn't want to
hear what he just said.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Chad. We'll let you go ahead.
This guy wouldn't want to mess with James Ellsworth. Okay, who is he kidding?
Chad, he just said he's a big, thick gentleman.
Well, judging by that thing in front of him, I'm sure he knows a lot about it.
He is a big, thick gentleman, and he will end your day.
All this does is go along with the reputation that Chris has had around wrestling fan circles. If Chris tried to fight MVP at 6'3", 250, with a jiu-jitsu championship or whatever he has, like that goes along with his rep of kind of being, when it comes to fighting, dumb enough to walk into a fight no matter the guy's size. You know what I mean? So I'm not surprised.
Yeah, great analysis by a fucking fat, stupid asshole that MVP could kick somebody's ass. Yeah, great analysis. Anybody want to think what Brock Lesnar might do to one of us? Take a guess. Yeah. How about that?
You could buy him breakfast and tell the story on the podcast. If you want to.
Does anybody know where Brock Lesnar is eating breakfast this morning?
When you made that comment, I thought this was also related to just some of the broader behavioral things that have come out about Chris over the years.
That's what I'm saying. I've just heard so much. I've just heard so many people. God. I'm sorry to cut you off. I've just had so many people come to me before I said it, after I said it, and I'm just like, Jesus, man, like this is insane. Sometimes the stuff I hear.
Can you like mute his audio and put some opera over it while he's doing the arms?
I wish Vince could have heard that one.
Yeah, that was. Oh my god.
Oh god.
I like to talk with my hands sometimes, and all that, but that was full on waving. Waving in a plane. It's like
he was very excited.
I mean, Joe, honestly speaking. Without giving names, have you heard stories of the boys talking about what they do after hours with some of the girls that come backstage or come to the shows? Okay, is that something that you might like run and go tell people or you have to go report? So, like, is this something that you might elicit this kind of response when you're on a podcast talking about it?
I don't know if it's unbelievable. And I guess Nick is married and has a kid, right? So, but I don't know if it's unbelievable.
I got two upstairs.
I think, yeah, Mike. I heard recently he's got like a newborn or something. But
wow.
No, it's some of the guys that report things like that and get so excited about a dude and a chick and whatever. It's because they don't have the life experience of just navigating different relationships or meeting a girl, or maybe she's a little more forward than you. You go over here, you do this, you never talk to her again, and then you hear the story, whatever the fuck, and that's maybe that, or you've never been around drugs, so you hear a drug story. Oh my God, did you hear that there was coke in this guy's room? Yeah, man. Every weekend I was at that party until last weekend. So
I mean, it's been reported that Tyreek Hill fathered 4 kids this year, none of them with his wife. And the only criticism he got is when he ran the wrong route or dropped the catch. You know what I mean? Like this gets swept under the rug everywhere. Yeah. Who gives a shit?
If you're a sensitive person, you shouldn't be anywhere around trying to break into the wrestling circle or reporting on it. You didn't know that these guys were a little dirty on the road sometimes? We're a little grimy? You didn't know that? Yeah. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Maybe it's just bad that I'm sitting there going like, wow, that's cool.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's so awesome. Do you have any more stories like that?
Yeah.
At a time now, this isn't the 80s. The internet exists. Social media exists. The content of somebody's character is just as important as
the color of their skin.
The ability for them to perform.
So did he say this on MLK Day?
Oh my God.
Know that you're going to say, oh, that's, not always the easiest person to find in that kind of vertical there. But you look at Sting, and then again, I look over at WWE right now, and look, there are issues. We went over the Gable Steveson stuff, right? There are other things there that are not imperfect, that are not perfect. But a lot of the people I talk to there now, I do hear about how they're like, I feel comfortable bringing my family to these shows. There's a very good vibe. I feel taken care of. More people have like tour buses where they can go kind of their own places and things like that.
What does that have to do with you?
Yeah.
I'm sure Hulk Hogan used to bring his kids to the backstage area during the Ring Boys scandal too. Okay, that's irrelevant.
Is he insinuating? Go ahead, Dean.
No, just can you edit out the Bull Stevenson part, and because then it'll say the gay stuff.
We went over the gay stuff.
Is he insinuating that people are now afraid to bring their families to Dynamite because Jericho might be on the card? Is that what he's Get the fuck out of here.
You never know when Jericho's going to hit on a woman.
Oh, my God. Yeah, he's out of control.
Oh, my God. He wants it to be like a big family thing backstage. Like, dude, people like you, Hausman, you wouldn't have lasted in the 80s, like being a journalist or the 90s even.
Or a live person.
Like if you're getting offended or you're upset about anything that you heard on this episode, like, I don't get it, man.
Has anyone seen Mick Foley's kids backstage at the 99 Royal Rumble?
Working in TV, all I heard stories about were guys that would just go get drunk and they would just be getting slammed, in between takes and,
boogered up
the shows. Yeah. Like that's all these guys wanted to do is just get liquored up and wait for the next story to drop. And this guy's just waiting for somebody to fall on their face so he can be like, let me report it first so I can be the one who can get the story.
And I'm surprised because I bet, and, I wouldn't doubt that Nick will hit me up after this and be like, fuck you, but that's fine. But I wouldn't doubt that, like, Nick probably has interviewed Kevin Nash or watched a Kevin Nash interview. And Kevin Nash tells stories about pills, GHB, and ecstasy all the time. And that's great. Like Chad said, oh, that's cool. But like Nick, you got to make
time to be alive.
Yeah, make up your mind. You didn't know that's how this is. Even when they tell the stories now, all anybody does is play video games. Yeah, that's a code for drinking and taking pills and chasing girls. Some play video games, but you know what I mean. Like this is like following around Molly Crew and going, Tommy Lee, you know what? I was in the room and he pulled his penis out. What the kind of, it's the same thing.
In my 20s, I wasted a lot of money on drugs and bullshit, you know what I mean? And I wasn't living a fucking, I wasn't making huge money. You imagine being in your 20s, touring with the WWE in every city, everybody's got something for you. Are you fucking kidding me? You're smashing that shit. I don't care who you are.
And most of these guys, they'll tell you, like Conan still now, he just turned 60 or 59 or whatever it was. Still, no matter what city he's in, people just walk up and hand him joints or vapes or bags of pot constantly. It's free. You think he's going to smoke it? He's going to smoke it.
But that's why I always point at the guys that, that I'm friends with from like the mid 2000s era of WWE, that these guys got tossed aside because they partied their faces off.
Yeah.
And they got cast off where now they get so like coddled and taken care of and kind of steered in different directions of, hey, maybe you should have made certain decisions. Where back in the day, it was the Wild West, and they'd be like, hey, maybe we should go out on Thursday night because we're not wrestling and literally party until like Sunday morning. And they're like, yeah, that's a great idea. And they did shit that maybe they regret, maybe they don't, but they did it. And now it would be like, oh my God, so-and-so developmental wrestler did blah, blah, blah. And I have a friend personally that if you watch a shoot interview or two, you might find out something really bad happened to them. And nowadays it'd be one of the biggest stories in wrestling. But back then it got buried because people didn't talk. And that's the difference between now and then. And if you grew up around wrestling, you learn to keep your mouth shut. And that's the problem now. They let too many people in, and somebody like him and that stupid fat shit that didn't say a word, who was a writer, looking around, oh, I know MVP. Shut the fuck up. You don't know shit. You're a fat shit. I don't know. To the show. I lost my train of thought. I just wanted to bash that guy.
I was going to say, sadly for the guys in the mid 2000s, Chris Benoit went ahead and murdered his wife and child and then killed himself. So it did make it hard for everyone else going forward to have their fun with drugs. But how about that two Chris Benoit references tonight? Thank you.
Yeah, dude, and that actually reminds me of Brian Pillman in '97. He was doing whatever. And he was getting so effed up that they were going to bring drug tests back. So other guys beat him up to be like, hey, you're ruining our drug time, dick. Because you can't handle your shit, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But first off, Chad was telling a story. Dave Lagana. I don't know what he was talking about. But
no, that's not the one. I got one. Oh. I'll tell you guys off the air. But there's one. And again, if you watch some shoots, you'll hear the story. But if it happened today, it'd be the biggest story in the business. Back then, got buried, and people just didn't even talk about it.
And if you look at that generation, those guys, sorry, Dean, just real quick, like Eugene, what happened to Eugene after the Benoit thing? He took some stuff on a plane, had a seizure. Eugene was gone. Test, dead. Lance Cade died at like 26.
Yeah.
And because he lived that lifestyle, and he couldn't let it, he didn't stop.
Now, Chad, the fact that I'm on this episode and I will get to hear it afterwards, like I'm cool with it. But in general, I would say anybody that says on a podcast, I'll tell you guys off air, but I won't say it on air. Go fuck yourself.
Oh. I'm offended by that, but I don't give a shit.
Offended. I'm upset by it. I'm upset by that.
You know what the best part is about it, Dean? You know what the best part is? I usually forget.
Yeah, I know. That's the point. You've actually forgotten a couple of times.
I usually forget, and I usually have to write it down like an old man. So,
all right, where can we find you, Chad?
You find me on iHeartRadio, Eyes Up Here, YouTube, Eyes Up Here with the Queen of Extreme, Francine. Every Tuesday, we drop a new audio episode, and every couple of days, we drop a new video on YouTube. If you like your ECW content and you like the Queen of Extreme and what we've got to offer, you will not be disappointed. But if you like me and you like IB exclusives, the man himself, William Shatner, is returning to IB exclusives this April, and we will have some autographed opportunities available. So if you want something signed by Captain Kirk, go to ibexclusives.com and we'll have some opportunities available for you.
All right, Joe.
You can catch me 4 to 6 times a week on K100 with Conan and Disco, as well as The Raven Effect, Raven and Rich Bikini on Mondays, and here on Get My Go. That's it. I'm down to 3 shows.
Hold on.
I went at the CC Network one because I'm fucking terrible at this. Few new shows. Cav Manning came over. He's been doing 3 shows a week, review shows, and desperately trying to get the Creative Control Network kicked off a Spreaker. Hasn't worked yet. And of course, Dean has moved over as well. I told you guys it would be 2024.
Yes.
I fucking told you.
It happened.
And it happened. Now we just need Dean to send me some episodes.
Yes.
So that's what we're waiting on next.
I got a few. Coming your way.
Dean, what is he talking about? Which show is he talking about?
So he's talking about United States of Australia.
Yeah.
We shifted our podcast feed over to the Creative Control Network, and we do pretty much everything. Not everything, but a lot of what we do now is on YouTube, and audio versions get sent to the Creative Control Network. Will be at some point. But no, this weekend, as we speak, tomorrow, Dr. Steve, the great Dr. Steve from Weird Medicine on Sirius XM, and of course the Opie and Anthony show from back of the day. And Chad's going to join me on that one as well because he knows a lot about Dr. Steve, and my co-hosts don't tend to know a lot about Opie and Anthony and all that. But Dr. Steve is going to come on and do a little bit of diagnosis on, unofficial diagnosis on Robbie the Mariner fan and what's going on with that mess of a body. YouTube.com/United States of Australia. And check us out on the Creative Control Network. Otherwise, on Twitter, I am at that sussy guy, or X. I'm at that sussy guy. I just imagine that Aussie guy. I put an S where the A should be.
Dean, are you going to go to that Perth WWE show coming up?
I'm going to wait to see if there's tickets available late that are cheap. But anytime they come here, they just fucking overcharge for tickets, and it's insane. So, I'm not that keen. Like, the whole Rock Roman thing died down. I was like, if The Rock's going to be there, then fuck yeah, I'll go. But now that's died down. Their biggest name they're promoting is Logan Paul. Maybe
you can go to the hotel and try and get.
I'll do that. Yeah, I'll take my 4-year-old son.
I have some figures for you.
Yeah,
I got some figures that need to be signed.
Yeah,
get some empty cans of Prime and get them signed.
Yeah.
And introduce yourself to everyone as Dean Body. And when they look at you funny, be like, "Yeah, I'm his Australian cousin." You'll be like, "Oh no, there's more."
All right, you can follow me on Twitter at Mike Durban, at Get My Go Show, YouTube.com/Mike Durban, YouTube.com/Get My Go, MikeDurban.com. Right here, I have the Conan Major Bendies. Unfortunately, I only have the prototype in my hand because I have not received the actual figures yet, and we're midway through January at this point, so I don't know what's going on, man. But keep checking.
Problem?
I don't know.
They've got some major problems.
Major distribution problems.
Major wrestling figure problems.
They're probably playing with them right now. That's why.
I don't know, man. I paid for them in February of last year, and we're almost at a year at this point. So, yeah. And I'm really glad that I spent the money to get MikeDurban.com up and running like 3 months ago, and I spent $800 on shipping supplies and all that shit, but whatever. Anyway, let's think positive.
Hey, no better way to be prepared than to have it waiting for you.
Yeah, it's all ready to go. So keep checking MikeDurban.com and follow at Conan Bendy on Twitter. All right, we will see you episode 91. I don't know what it's going to be yet. You guys got any ideas?
Oh my god, I got a couple.
That was that guy that smiles all the time.
There's a guy that smiles all the time that has a bullseye right between his eyes, and I've said it before and I'll say it again. We're coming for you. Yeah.
I think we should do K100 for the 100th episode.
I figured that was coming.
Make it the K100th episode.
There you go. Okay, that's it.
Wait till you hear this week, bro.
All right, Chad, you want to hit the?
I'm sorry. Yeah.
What number was it?
Oh yeah, we got to do the intro.
Yeah, we got to do the intro.
Let's do a real quick intro. You know what? I'll do it. All right, ready?
He definitely has 2 left feet a little bit there. He's a little stiff.